Hey guys, so for this week's presentation, I decided to pick stage 1 and I decided to do the weather experiment. So how does weather change throughout the day? So let's investigate. So my testable question was, what happens to the weather when we change the time of day that we observe it? So this links in with the syllabus with Earth and Space Stage 1. So observes questions and collects data to communicate and compare ideas, recognizes observable change occurring in the sky and on the land, and identifies Earth resources. So those are the two outcomes that it links in with, but I will discuss these a little bit further later on. So our prediction was that the weather will change throughout the day. And the method for this particular experiment is pretty simple, but I wanted to start it off with step 1 being a definition of weather, because I think it's really important to define and understand the concept of weather. So the state of the atmosphere at a particular place and time as in regards to heat, cloudiness, dryness, sunshine, wind, rain, etc. So step 2 is pretty simple as well. Basically, you just go outside and observe the following weather indicators every hour. So clouds, the color of the clouds, are they dark, are they light, and the amount, is there lots, is there not so many, are they really sparse, are they crowded together, and this is just done through a visual observation. And then with rain, is there rain, yes or no? And if there is rain, what's the strength of it? Is it light? Is it sprinkling? Is it absolutely pouring down? And once again, that's a visual observation. Sunshine, so how apparent the sun is. Obviously it's light because it's day, but is it really, really dark outside? Is it bright blue skies, sunny skies? And once again, that's also visual observation. And then wind, so the strength of the wind. Is there wind, yes or no? And if there is it very light? Is it breezy? Is it strong enough that it's pushing trees around or maybe moving the clothesline around? Then step 3 is to compare your own observations with actual weather reports to get that comparison element of the syllabus and the working scientifically skills. So basically, these were the observations and results. So I began my observations at 9 a.m. So clouds, there was lots of clouds, there were dark colouring, there was no rain, there was minimal sunshine, and there was no wind. And this pretty much aligns with the weather report stats. And then at 10 a.m, there was still lots of clouds, but the colouring had lightened since 9 a.m. Still no rain, still no wind, and there was minimal sunshine, but it was a little bit more than previously at 9 a.m. And this pretty much matched the weather report stats as well. And then surprisingly, out of nowhere, at 11 o'clock, there was lots of clouds. They were quite dark in colour. There was minimal sunshine, and at this point in time, there was moderate rainfall. So it was heavier than just sprinkling, but it wasn't absolutely like bucketing down. And there was light wind. In the photo, is it a little bit hard to see that it was raining, but that's why I took a photo of my window here. You can see all the rain droplets. It did rain quite a bit. And this did not align with the weather report stats. There's no reports of rain here, but obviously it did rain. And then at 12 o'clock, the rain had ceased, but there was still lots of clouds in the sky. The color had lightened, but as you can see, it was like blanket clouds, like you can't really see much of the blue sky. There was minimal sunshine, and there was still a light amount of wind. This disagrees with the weather report. It says that the showers were supposed to start now, but as we saw, they started at 11 and stopped at 12. Then at 1 o'clock, there was still lots of clouds. The colouring had lightened a bit. The rain, once again, no rain, very light wind, very minimal sunshine. Kind of agreed with the weather report stats. Then at 2 o'clock, the colouring had lightened again. There was still lots of clouds though. No wind at this point, no rain at this point, but there was more sunshine than at 1 o'clock. Which pretty much agreed with the weather report stats. And then if you look at this particular photo from 3 p.m, it looks like I took this on a different day. It's kind of hard to believe that this was taken on the same day, but as you can see, there is absolutely no rain. It's very, very bright and sunny outside. There are noticeably less clouds. They are much lighter in color, and there is no wind. So it's a complete 360 from the pouring rain that happened before. And this somewhat agree with the weather report stats. It was a lot more sunny, but it definitely was still a little bit cloudy. But yeah, those are all the timestamps that I observed for. So just as the comparison, so these were the own observations versus the weather report. So they did match more often than not, but some of them did not. And then this is just an overview so that you can see all the different hours that we recorded just in one PowerPoint. So like if you compare like the 11 a.m. to the 3 p.m., like it just is wild that this was taken on the same day. And as you can see, weather definitely does change a lot. So the conclusion that we came to was that weather changes a lot during the day. It shows us that weather is constantly evolving and changing, as weather is caused by changes in the Earth's atmosphere. This experiment helped us identify different indicators of weather changing, and it was important to note that weather reports don't always match what is actually observable and what's happening. So in terms of working scientifically skills, for planning and conducting, students were making observations using their visual senses. They were representing their observations with simple wording, simple drawings, and digital technologies such as taking pictures and placing them in the results table. They were collecting observational data. They can work in groups collaboratively. If you're doing this in the classroom, you could have like each group having a different weather indicator to work with. So you've got the wind experts, the rain experts, the cloud experts, and so forth, so that each group gets a special little expert task to do. And then comparing observations with actual weather reports, so for that comparison factor. And then for processing and analysing, they collected a range of different data to form observations, and they represent this data in simple tables using drawings or pictures taken with digital technology. As for design and production, you can pose different questions for them to investigate and figure out. So do you think weather reports are always reliable? Yes, why not? Let's test it. Do you think if this Monday has a particular weather report, will it be exactly the same next Monday? Let's test it. Why not? And if we test the weather on October 21st, 2020, will it be exactly the same on October 21st, 2021? Why not? And really gets the kids to just start thinking about things like this, and knowing that weather is somewhat unpredictable. And if it's the same this year, will it be exactly the same next year? And this really just gets students to really think and investigate. And then in terms of syllabus links, it hits those two outcomes that I mentioned earlier. And as for content, it's just recording the observable changes that occur in the sky and on the land, collecting data related to short-term weather events and long-term seasonal patterns to inform others using appropriate communication techniques, and observe and ask questions about and describe changes in objects and events. So that is pretty much the end of my presentation. Thank you.